The rumbling deep bass sound the elephants make may sound like one singular wavelength of tone. The familiar sound will capture the attention of the elephants of the herd, but if the elephants dig deeper, they are able to separate the incoming wave into frequency spectrums, allowing for distinction even of which herd is calling. Thus, the elephant not only know the differences between a distress call versus a mating call, but they also know the difference between respective herds and connect those frequencies with sounds of familiarity. Ah, that's my mother calling. I should get up and go over there. That's the sound of my child. I know that voice. It's a bruised knee or a nightmare, and I must go. I know that cry. It's a calling, and so I must answer. Sometimes God will tap into that familiar rhythmic beat or frequency that we already know so that we can trust God's voice. I remember one Halloween while in the 3rd grade, I was dressed up as some scary monster for the school's costume dress-up day. And as I got off the bus, my dog just barked at me as if she was about to take me down for the count. And I had to gently say to her, "Calm down, it's me. I'm not that scary. It's me, your friend, your pal." But even before I revealed myself by removing the mask, she heard my voice and she trusted me, releasing all of her previous fears, and began to listen to my calling. Before, she resisted and tried to back away. But now that she recognized my voice from behind that mysterious mask, she listened intently and allowed me to draw closer to her. Samuel responded to a voice that reminded him of someone he could trust, and so it made sense to him that he likened the voice of God with Eli. That was the one who mentored him. But at some point, that deep voice that's beckoning us in the night will become even more familiar, and we'll recognize it as the voice of God. As a little girl, my mom would call out to me in my room to complete a chore, and if she called me more than once or twice, I would find her standing over me asking, they called me Wally as a kid, "Wally, didn't you hear me calling you, young lady?" And I would say, "Yes, ma'am." And she said, "Well, why didn't you answer me?" It was not enough for me to hear her. I needed to affirm and respond to her calling. And I couldn't send my younger sister to complete the chore. I couldn't send someone else to do it for me. It was a distinct call for me, and I alone had to complete the task that was given. Samuel had to dig deep within himself to hear and respond to that deep calling in the night. It was meant for him. He had to open his heart, his ears to hear the true voice of God. He had to open his soul to speak, "God, I am ready to listen." And this is my prayer for us in this Advent season, to take care of our souls that we are able to listen to the rumbling sounds of God that calls us in the night or in the day or in those deep rumblings that we can distinguish as the voice of God. God is calling. God is waiting. God is waiting for us expectantly and with great anticipation. And God wants us to wait expectantly for the coming of Christ. God wants us to not only answer the call that God calls for us, but God wants us to call out to one another with missional purpose rooted in a Christological framework of service, education, passion, justice for the people. God wants us to allow our hearts to be interconnected so that my plight becomes your plight. My fight becomes your fight. My mourning becomes your lament. And our vision for one church becomes a shared vision where the showers of heaven from above rain down righteousness so that justice can roll like water, an ever-flowing stream. When you hear the calling, be still and welcome God to speak. When you hear the calling, know that not only is God still speaking, God is speaking through us. And God wants us to speak a prophetic word out into the wilderness. God wants us to speak a prophetic word so that those in the diaspora near and far will be able to hear this message of love, this message of a beloved community that can hear even in those darkness and isolation. God is still speaking. Our response is, here I am. I am ready. We are ready. When you call me, I will answer. When you call me, I will answer. When you call me, I will answer. I'll be somewhere listening for my name. I'll be somewhere